Seems inviting. Yeah, you can usually identify where some entrances to dungeons or raids would be from back in the day because of, well, places like this. So, Maraudon. This is a place that, from what I can tell, has hardly changed that much compared to how it was in vanilla. Mainly because of how some of the models look and just kind of the layout. You could definitely tell this was one of those big type of, dungeons from back in the day. According to legend, Zeatar, son of Cenarius, and the Earth Elemental Princess Theradras begot the barbaric centaur race. Shortly after the centaur's creation, the ruthless creatures murdered their father. The grief-stricken Theradras is said to have trapped her lover's spirit within Maraudon, corrupting the region. Now vicious centaur ghosts and twisted elemental minions roam every corner of the sprawling caves. Theradras, by the way, is the daughter of Therazane. The elemental Earth Lord in Deep Home? Yeah. So we are here to help out with that. There's a bit more talk about there, but I'll save it for when we actually finish it. So we open the doors. So yeah, I just love these long pathways just to get to the entrance. And of course you had to fight trash just to get to the entrance. Yeah, this is a reason why I am not interested in participating in some of the stuff in WoW Classic. Going through all this stuff, not to mention the whole hassle of dealing with other players. And whether or not those players would be even welcoming or accepting. Alright, so here is a cool little thing, though. There are two separate entrances here that will actually determine which one you go to. There is either Maraudon, the Wicked Grotto, or Maraudon... well, either one of those. So, when you queue up for this, you will get a wing for Maraudon, which will be either these two, even though it's actually supposed to be these three, but it will actually say it's completed after you do Vile Tongue, and then people will leave and won't do Celebrus. And then the last one is supposed to be Landslide and Theradras, and no one ever does Rod Grip. I will, of course, show you Rod Grip, but just no one ever does it. Let's go this way. Actually, no, I take it back. Let's start with the Wicked Grotto. It doesn't really matter, because I'm going to do, show you all of it. I'm just going to have to do a little bit more running around. Hello. Kavindra.
Is there trouble?
This place, it's cursed. I barely managed to escape, and I cannot bear to go down through the tunnels again. My brother and sisters, though, they were not as fortunate. Trapped inside, they are feverish with the corrupted haze that flows from the evil garden growing there. Please, you must help.
So I switched over to my druid because of the, connection to the likes of Cenarius and such. Obviously, it would probably be a little bit more fitting if I was on my Night Elf druid, but he's only like level 22. So, my Tauren druid here is the only one that's max level. Though I am working on my Zandalari. He's getting there. And I went the wrong way. You see what I mean about these, this maze you have to go through just to get to the entrance? Talk about a time waster. But then again, that's one of the issues with vanilla back in the day was the amount of filler. that they had to kind of put in there, especially when they ran out of time, since Vivendi was forcing them to get it out earlier than they wanted to. Blizzard wanted to add a lot more to this and do a better job of designing WoW before they released it. But Vivendi was forcing them to get it out because of their bankrupt issues. And so WoW Vanilla was released, you know, not very well designed. And, you know, Blizzard, I'm sure has, if I recall, has actually acknowledged this. Partly because of how they ran out of time. Now I'm hoping the quest stuff is going to pop up here. Because I don't recall ever doing this on this character. Alright, so this portion of the dungeon... Okay. So yeah, I did get it. Okay. Princess Therajas, my former mate. This is, the spirit of oh gosh, what was his name? Zeatar. This is Zeatar talking to us in the, you know, right now. His spirit has used her enormous power to corrupt the very nature of Maraudon. Even now her creations run rampant here, and I fear that they may soon escape into the open world to sow the seeds of death and destruction. Papaneeks, venture forth and kill Noxian and Razorlash. They are two of her most powerful minions, and their deaths would cause the callous princess much deserved grief and suffering of her own. Then perhaps you can help free my spirit from her grasp. Yeah. So going through here can be interesting. Also, I just realized that I didn't take the right direction, I think. Like I said, this dungeon can just be a maze to navigate through. So yeah, you gotta deal with these. That's right, now I remember. And you know, some people try to ignore some of this trash. That's not a good idea. Don't ignore the sludges. Don't ignore the dryads that walk up from behind over there. And will start, you know, hitting you with poison damage. I've encountered a number of issues in here with groups that just simply tried to ignore some trash, and it caused a number of issues with the group. Unnecessary wipes that I thought, mainly because, well, people weren't paying attention. They weren't looking around, taking into account everything around them. It's one of the things I've learned to do, especially if I ever tank places like this. Like, you know, you have to pay attention to every bit of trash in here so you don't get surprised or accidentally aggro stuff or just get caught unaware. So this is Noxian. Noxian is a living embodiment of corruption. Therajas ordered her ally Lord Viletongue to create this putrid elemental to be a powerful servant and a loyal pet to ease the princess's loneliness. Noxian spreads its toxic essence onto areas of Maraudon that have not yet withered under Therajas' malign influence. So, this fight, I mean, you know, there's going to be some, you know, toxic damage they got to deal with. It's not that bad. He does put out these spawns, but they're not that rough to deal with. Not really. You do have to take them down because you'll notice you can't attack him when those are out. Once you take those out, then you can attack him again. Also, those things, those larvas, they will explode and do quite a bit of nasty damage, so it can be a little rough to deal with, especially if you're here as a healer. Personal experience talking. Like, I saw what was going on earlier, and I knew that was going to happen when they attacked that mob. And this was, like, on my holy pad, and I was just kind of prepping myself, like, okay, I gotta get my heals ready. Gotta get ready. And here is Razorlash. Razorlash was made to accompany Noxian through Maraudon. In time, this new creation became one of the princess's most cherished servants. Razorlash constantly wanders the caves alongside Noxian, using thorny tendrils to shred any untainted plant life that it can find. Right. So, yeah, he'll try and do puncture to put a dot on you. He'll just thrash, at the current target, mainly the tank, and he'll cleave. Very straightforward fight. Without her powerful servants. This is Aetar, by the way. You can tell he's a son of Cenarius. Without her powerful servants, Princess Theradrus is significantly more vulnerable. Find her lair. It is time to strike. You feel a sizable lump of gold appear in your bags. Clearly a reward for your work here. He can materialize gold, although he only gave me 90 silver. Cheap little... Alright, so now I can just kind of run all the way through here, all the way to this portion here. So, not a big deal. I'm just curious if the quest will pop up. But then again, I think you only have to do one wing, and then you can just make your way forward towards doing the rest of it, without having to deal with this wing over here. So, but of course I do want to show it to you, so. Just as long as I have a clear path to get there. Yeah, these can be very annoying. Yeah, there's some gauntlets here. You can look at all the trash here. Now, if you pull everything in here, you're more than likely gonna wipe. So you got to make sure that you take dealing with this room very smartly, especially this little portion right here, this little gauntlet. Because if you're dealing with these sludges and you accidentally aggro that lurker, it can be rough for your group. I'll skip Bile Tongue. Obviously, we're going to go to the first boss over here, because if we had gone in the other entrance, we would have started over here and have had to make our way over here.
Target.
So our first boss over here can perhaps be a little hard to miss. Like, especially if you're just kind of looking around. But here he is. Tinkerer Gizlok. Tinkerer Gizlok and 5 other gem hunters snuck into Maraudon to mine its highly prized crystals. Their plan went horribly wrong when satyrs slaughtered everyone in the party, save for Gizlok. The goblin, trapped within the caves and driven to the brink of madness, sees himself as the subterranean region's new ruler. Yeah, he's gone a little cuckoo during his time here. Mine! 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 Gizlok is the ruler of this domain! You shall never reveal my presence! Yeah, so, like a goblin, he just tosses bombs at you. Has that dragon gun. Not really that much of a rough fight. Yeah. Yeah, he's a relatively easy fight in my opinion. It's just a matter of making sure you don't have other trash, involved in that fight when that happens. Also, those stealth satyrs right there, yeah, those can be annoying in this little portion right here, especially if you have other trash. Yeah, one of the main things that you gotta hope that your tank knows how to do in here is how to manage how much of the trash you deal with at once. Because you can accidentally aggro a ton of the trash all at once if you're not careful. And when you're trying to level your characters, it can be a little rough. So you gotta make sure you're careful in here. This next boss, this is a bit more of an interesting fight. This is Lord Viletongue. The satyr Lord Viletongue journeyed into Maraudon's depths after hearing of its corruption. Theradrus was wary of the conniving demon at first, but Viletongue proved his worth by creating an array of wretched minions, such as Noxian and Razorlash, for the princess. So he'll summon some Shadow Stalkers to help him out with the fight. And he'll be, shooting. He'll be using abilities, multi-shot and such, like a marksman hunter. He also has Blink. He'll also have Smoke Bomb, which stuns. He'll also be able to do, a teleport. There'll be a portion of time where we will actually, lose track of him, and he'll, appear somewhere else. He'll use Smoke Bomb or whatever, and then he'll blink to a different location, so. You just gotta pay attention, and, deal with the trash when he spawns it, and it'll be fine. So, usually when you take that boss out, you'll get the little notification that, hey, you completed the LFG dungeon, and then some people might leave. When you're also being asked to deal with Celebrus the Cursed. But a lot of people just won't even bother or realize it because they want to get the extra XP for going into a different dungeon and finishing that, so yeah, like I said, dealing with this little room here can be a little rough. So you have a couple of different ways you can go about this. You can either go over here and drop down into the water down there, but you could just kind of make your way down over there, but that's a little longer. You gotta deal with more trash. So just as long as you don't have any pets aggroing everything in, that will then start going down this way and pull everything down to this portion, you should be fine. So this is usually one of the ways that if your group does stay and wants to do another boss, that you can just kind of drop down there and be able to skip all that trash and then make your way over here, avoid the dryads, over to this portion right here to deal with Celebrus the Cursed. Upon learning of his uncle's tragic fate, the noble Celebrus swore to free Zeatar's spirit, yet the Keeper of the Grove was not prepared for the horrors that awaited him in Maraudon's shadowy corridors. The dark energies permeating the area quickly overcame Celebrus, filling his heart with uncontrollable rage. I don't even have an interrupt as a druid, do I? I'm like, what is the ability I have that actually interrupts casts like that? I don't think a druid has one. Or maybe I'm just not seeing it. No. So yeah, I got... No. He'll just keep casting Wrath on you. Tangling Roots, yeah. Not that rough of a fight from what I recall. The Claw of Celebrus. You can tell that some of this stuff was like really nice gear to be farmed back in the day. But we have saved him now, and he is now Celebrus the Redeemed. At last, I am free of the corruption that once bound me to this place. Tell me more about Maraudon. Long ago, my dryad sisters and I entered these caves to free the tortured spirit of my uncle Zeatar. However, the corruption that had already spread through these caverns soon overcame us, and we too fell. We were destined to wander these passages, toxins poisoning our minds. Although my spirit may now be at rest, I know that I have failed in my mission. It is a great sadness that I must bear. Can you tell me more about Zeatar? Ah, Zeatar. My father, Remulos, tried to stop him. Zeatar was headstrong, and when he fell for an earth and elemental princess, my father knew that their union was cursed, but Zeatar refused to listen. By the way, Remulos is one of my followers in my Order Hall in Legion as a druid, So then this would be... So then Celebrus here would be Cenarius' grandson. The centaur are the result of his mistake. They were born misshapen and hateful. My uncle Zeatar was killed by his own kin. The evil princess Theradras still guards his remains here in the crystal caverns. Can you tell me more about the history of Remulos and Zeatar? You ask the sons of Cenarius, Remulos and Zeatar. My father Remulos was strong and beautiful, and my uncle Zeatar very cunning and slight of build. While they were respected quite equally, Zeatar always felt as if he could never quite compare to the glory and attention that he thought Remulos had. After my sisters and I were born, Zeatar, blinded by jealousy, set out to outdo his brother. He was the creator of his own end. The sadness it brings me has never lessened, even as time passes. So yeah. Drama within the family scenarios. So when you queue up for this portion of the dungeon in LFG, you'll usually spawn like right here at the top of this waterfall. And then you gotta jump down. So yeah, these hydras can be kind of rough. Especially if you accidentally pull more than one. They are elites, so you do gotta be careful. This trash can also be a little rough. Just a bit. So your group's gotta work your way through this gauntlet and this trash. And then comes a bit of a fun bit of running around, as if we haven't already done a good chunk of that. Sorry, I'm just not too fond of the these kinds of layouts for dungeons. These very long and large real estates. And trust me, this is not even like some of the worst of it. Just wait till we get to Dire Mall and Blackrock Depths. Just wait. I prefer, like how we went through Sholomance and how that layout was. I thought that was a really great layout. But that's just me. That's just a preference thing for me. This is Landslide. For years, the ancient mountain giant known as Landslide cultivated brilliant crystal gardens in Maraudon, but Theradras enthralled the behemoth when she took up residence there. This once stoic giant now lives only to serve his tyrannical new master. Oh, excuse me. It's a little late. I'm gonna probably get ready to head to bed once I'm done making this video. It's 2 a.m. I know it's late, but, I'm usually up this late anyway, and I felt like making more of these videos, so. So yeah, by the way, I went through that rather quickly because I got distracted by my, being a little sleepy. But he's got a couple of mechanics. One of them is, Landslide, which summons a Shardling. Plus you get stunned for 8 seconds. That's fun. So I'm going to save the optional boss for after we deal with the main boss here. You got to go through these behemoths here. The optional boss is down there. You can actually see him. He's right... Wait, no, that's not him. Huh. Where is he? Oh, there he is. But we will deal with him afterwards, because it's obviously a little hard to get back up there, It's possible, but it takes a bit of running around in order to do so. So we're just going to deal with the final boss, and then we will end with Rot Grip. The boss that no one ever does. So, yeah. This is Theradras. Quite the looker, isn't she? She's got 3 faces. She got spikes coming out of those couple of extra arms there. What is with those shoes? I don't know. The Earth Elemental Theradras, Therazane, the Stone Mother's sole daughter. That's weird how they worded that. Like, Theradras, Therazane, the Stone Mother's sole daughter, resides in Maraudon's inner sanctum. Influenced by the old gods, the princess transformed her home into a den of corruption and suffering. Some believe that her foul powers are tied to the spirit of her dead lover Zeatar. If so, liberating the fallen keeper of the grove might be the only hope of cleansing Maraudon. The thing is, Theradras is not doing this, like, to be, like, evil or anything. She's not like, I will keep you bound here forever. She's actually doing this because she felt a sense of loyalty to Zeatar. Like, when he passed, she was upset and saddened by this, and she's just kind of stayed by the side of her dead lover all this time, just out of a sense of, I guess, loyalty to him. So it's kind of actually very sad that, you know, she didn't purposely try to curse or corrupt this place. It just kind of inadvertently happened while she tried, you know, just wanted to stay at his side. This is where his ruin, where he lies. So yeah, there's really only one mechanic I recall that is a tad bit annoying here. And it's only if you are within range of her vicinity. I believe it's that, Dust Field. Inflicting damage, and it knocks them back. Yeah, if you're within the range of this, it keeps knocking you back. It's kind of annoying. Ooh, her scepter. I'll take that. I'm guessing these were probably, like, big deal things to get back in the day. Thank you. As you can see, my mere presence here has resulted in a bloom of glorious life, despite my mate's presence. Names aside, perhaps one day you will again venture into Desolus and find it a verdant oasis free of any traces of the old gods. So, we freed Zeatar's spirit. I greet you. So, he has been freed. Alright, so now let's do the optional boss that nobody ever does. Whee! There he is. Rot Grip. Rumor has it that Rot Grip has dwelled in Maraudon's subterranean waters for millennia. The famed dwarven hunter Hemet Nessingwary once proclaimed that the beast could not be found, and a number of amateur trackers accepted the challenge of seeking out the legendary creature. None of them have ever returned. He's not a complicated fight. He's only got a couple mechanics here, as you can see. You know, he's a big crocodile, basically. You know. Has a bite attack. Fatal bite, puncture. But like I said, no one ever does this boss. And that is Maraudon. pretty big, but trust me, it's not as big as some of the others we have coming up on our list here. Alright, so let's see. We've done those. Yeah, some of those we're waiting until Burning Crusade and Wrath and Cataclysm to do. Yeah. You know, I kind of want to head on over. Now, if you're wondering about Dire Maul, like I said, Dire Maul is going to be one of the last we do for this era, this classic era. So, I think before we head on over to the Eastern Kingdoms and deal with some of the other ones here, like a couple of the other ones, what do you guys say we stick around in Kalimdor one more time and head on over to Zul'Farrak? A place that has dramatically changed. I've heard that it's hardly this, has any similarity at all to the way it was back in vanilla. It's very much changed. But I've gone through it, several times recently, and I like it. So stay tuned when we head to Zul'Farrak. Stay tuned, man.